The BS behind creating a predictable income with your business. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of The Mind Engineer. Here, Tommy Walker sharing insight and tools to help you with your mind and the business. And one of the things that I came up with to talk today is this predictability that a lot of people are talking about for the business. So when we start understanding how the mind works, we can also understand how people are using these type of tools that I help people use to free their mind to use to get people to be controlled. What do I mean with that? And I know it's a bold accusation, but bear with me a little bit. So if you had to name the three main things that you struggle with your business or in your life, could we agree that unpredictability, uncertainty are the top three, maybe? Unpredictability or uncertainty, however you want to call it, are one of the main things that you struggle with your business. Can we agree with that? And I'm pretty sure that most people are going to say yes, right? So what some people out there are doing, or more so a lot of people out there that, they don't give a shit about anyone. They just want to have more money in their bank account, is they're using manipulation tactics to get you to purchase their programs. What do I mean with this? A lot of people tell you that you need to talk to the pain that people have. And we all do that, and that is okay, because the truth is we all have pains and we would like solutions to that. But one thing is to name the pain and then give you a fake solution, then talk to your pain and then teach you or share the program, whatever that is going to help you try to overcome that pain, but not in an ethical way. Let's put it that way. What does that mean? At least in my opinion is when people throw around the word predictability with a business, the truth is I've been an entrepreneur for 29 years. 29. And I've seen people out there that would sell predictability and their entire company fell apart. And I've seen many of them that were around with affiliate marketing, with coaching, with network marketing, with pyramid, whatever, Amway or whatever, that their business fell apart. I'm not saying Amway in itself, but many people that were sharing that and we're talking about predictability, many of those businesses are not around anymore. Why is it that those businesses are not around anymore? Because the predictability fell apart. So what a lot of people out there are selling the predictability idea, because that's one of the biggest things that most entrepreneurs are looking for in their business. They want predictability in their income. They want to know that they're going to be making 4, 5, 10, 8, whatever number per month all the time. Predictable money coming in. But again, guys, I've been an entrepreneur for 29 years and I've seen along all these years companies that came out and went like this constantly. Yeah, you can understand that maybe predictability could be that you can make between, $3,000 and $5,000, $3,000 and $6,000, but you're going to make $5,000 every month predictable. That is BS. And they're hitting you in where it hurts, and then they're selling you something that is not totally true. Because again, if you go look out there how the market is behaving, you're not going to see predictability even in the market. If you look at shares trading, if it were that basic trading, most people would make millions, because you just say, okay, Apple is predictable. I'm going to put money in Apple and I'm going to make a lot of money. But if you look at Apple, it goes ups and downs. If you look at Yahoo, if you look at Google, all companies have ups and downs, all of them. So you're telling me that if Apple is having ups and downs, Google is having ups and downs, any company out there is having ups and downs, how are these coaches, gurus telling you that they're going to be able to sell you predictability? Please answer that question in the comments, because seriously, if I'm wrong, No worries. I'm okay with that. But how come big companies cannot really know exactly predictability for their companies? How are you going to have predictability when you are starting or you are in the market for 1, 2, 3, 5 years? It doesn't matter. Predictability as they sell it does not exist. What it exists is a pill that they're selling you to try to numb your pain. Because what people want is to not deal with unpredictability or uncertainty. One of the biggest things that the mind cannot deal with is uncertainty. So a lot of people use marketing to get you to think that with their program, with their stuff, you're going to be able to stop feeling uncertainty. That's why they use the word predictability in their marketing. Like, oh, with our system, you're going to be able to predict your income. You're going to be able to say, I want to make $5,000 a month. I'm going to make $5,000 a month. And again, I've been around online for many, many, many years. And for the past 5, 6 years, I've been studying companies that were selling that, companies that were offering that, and most of them have disappeared from the market. They come out, they say how much they're making to their clients, thousands, millions of dollars to their clients, and suddenly they disappear. If they were so good, why aren't they around anymore? That's an honest question. Why aren't they around anymore? Because again, and I've talked to people that try to sell the predictability, and even them were struggling to predict their own income, because I have worked with some of these people came to me to help me deal with their mindset to be able to make more money. And what I've seen is that they couldn't predict their own business, but they would sell predictability to others. And that's how I believe that's a lack of ethics, and it's destroying a lot of business owners, because people that are in a lot of pain, that don't want to struggle with uncertainty, look for those quick, or not so quick, but still kind of, solutions to stop that pain within. So again, when we start understanding the mind, that the mind is not accustomed, is not used to uncertainty, because most people get into a company, they work in there, and rarely they get fired. So there is predictability in their income in a company. Now they want to move over to, of course, a business owner, and they want that predictability. But nobody told them that there is no predictability in entrepreneurship. At least when you're starting or you are not a big company, there's not going to be predictability. You might say, I want to make $3,000, and maybe you're going to make five. It might take a while depending on many circumstances. But right now, with the war and everything that's going on, the markets fell apart, and now slowly they're getting back up again. So how can you predict that? Please tell me. How can you predict that the war is going to hit you in a good way or in a bad way? How can you predict those things? How can you predict that suddenly Trump is going to set these, taxes to things from China, from things from other parts of the country, from other parts of the world, that he's going to fight with most of the countries around you? How can you predict that? You can't. So the basic thing, guys, is that we need to work in being able to be okay, to train the mind to be okay with uncertainty. Because as you keep seeking for those solutions on the outside, unfortunately, it's not going to happen. It doesn't happen for most people. Even the people that talk to you or that are selling the predictability system, they're lying. I'm sorry, I know I'm making a bold statement, but I've seen most of these fall apart in 5 months, 6 months, a couple of years, and they just fall apart. They speak about predictability, and then everything goes down the drain. Sorry, but I've seen it, a lot of it. So that doesn't mean that you can put set things in place to try to help you have an idea or increase your income or set a range of income. But predictability is something that is a very strong word that is very difficult to hold on to because there's so many variables in the world that are going on at the same time that you don't know what's going to happen. Right now, there's a big crisis worldwide economically. So a lot of people are starting to spend less money. How can you predict that? How can you predict that? It's difficult. So again, I want to repeat this to you. People are using the predictability word a lot in the business because that's one of the biggest pains people have. And I know a lot of people might not like to listen to this because they want that problem solved, but you cannot solve it on the outside. You can only solve it from within when you start training the mind to be okay with uncertainty. That's the only way that you're not going to need these external things to stop the pain. Because again, most of the people are looking to stop the pain. So they buy into so many things that only treat the surface level problems. They don't deal with the deeper problems. So what I've seen in most of the entrepreneurs that I worked, that they had tried many external things, trying to solve the problem on the outside, till most of the things they tried didn't work, and they started going within. So one of the things that I like to share, that this is something that I didn't come up with, I heard somebody said it, but it's having the company, the business, having the business as a possibility to keep becoming a greater version of you. Your business is going to be a great tool to help you become a greater version of you. Why? Because it's going to bring to the surface all your unresolved issues. When you need to expose yourself, when you need to start talking to people, when you need to talk to people and maybe people are going to say no, you're going to get rejected, you're going to get judged, you're going to get haters. This is another thing that I spoke on a while ago about haters. Can you predict that you're not going to have haters? No matter what you do, you're going to have people that are going to judge you, criticize you, say something negative about something about you. When I started at the beginning, some guy was making fun, I don't remember about, I think it was my eyebrows or something. He was saying, oh, you have weird eyebrows, or they move in a weird way. I don't remember exactly. It was like 7 years ago. Somebody's going to have something to talk about you because a lot of people are in pain, and people that are hurting hurt others. Hurting people hurt others. So if you don't work on developing a strong mindset, healing past experiences that might be holding you back, unfortunately, it's going to make it very difficult to get your business going. And I've worked with tons of entrepreneurs that were stuck with their business, although they were good at what they were doing, don't get me wrong, but they were stuck and they were trying to find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but they never found it till they got tired and they said, you know what, there's something else out there that I'm not doing that I need to deal with it. And it was going into their inner world. Start working in identifying the limiting, negative, and false beliefs they had inside of them, retraining the mind, in this case, to become better at dealing with uncertainty. The entrepreneur journey has tons of uncertainty. If you don't learn how to train the mind to deal with that, unfortunately, you're going to be stuck with your business, finding excuses like, oh, I need a better phone, I need this, I need this, I need that. You know, I talk to lots of entrepreneurs that are always looking for the next thing, you know, the next best camera to record their videos, the lighting to record their videos, the blah, whatever. And when I started, I didn't have all this equipment that I have right now. I have 2 lights in the back. I have a really good camera that creates a great background. I have lots of toys that I use, but I built it up. I started with just a computer and my phone, and it wasn't a great computer back then. It was a computer that I had, and I started with that. Now I have a MacBook Pro M3 that is a pretty good computer. I use mostly Mac. So the truth is, I started with very little. But as I started doing all this work while facing the challenges with my business, I was able to overcome them over and over again. And if we don't work on that in our inner world, we're going to find external things that are going to stop us, or we're going to keep trying to find the program, the course that is going to solve or take away our pain. But the truth is, you are the only one that can stop the suffering, nobody else. And your business is going to show you every single place where there is suffering so that you can finally deal with it, heal, reprogram, and start moving forward. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you heard this before, the BS about predictability. If you have fallen into that, seeking that, it's normal. I've done it too in the past, don't get me wrong, because again, we like those words, those fancy things that are going to take away the pain. But nothing is going to take the pain away if we don't deal with it. Nothing. Nobody, nothing is going to be able to remove it. You are the only one that has that opportunity to deal with it. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments so I can read you later. If you watch this live, hashtag live. If you're watching replay, please write replay here. Share with more people, comment and subscribe to the channel so that more people get to know what I'm doing and get help through this just for free, as you're seeing. So thank you very much.